Anyway, while you do that, we've got something very interesting to talk about because the next story that we're going to talk about is fascinating, because we all live in a rather privileged world, don't we? Yet there are millions of people all over the globe who are impoverished, starving, and living in terrible conditions. For this reason, of course, many of us donate money or clothing to our chosen charities on a regular basis. But have you ever thought of donating not money, not clothing, but your skills instead? Never thought about it? Well, neither have I. And, it could be things like language or sports, arts, or even fashion. Yeah, absolutely. I'm staggered as well, because I didn't know you could do that sort of thing for charity. But my next guest, who's done just that, will reveal all. Her name is Aarti Kodiara, and Aarti is from Leicester, and she decided to do just that on a voluntary placement in India, and it was set up by the Asian Foundation for Philanthropy. I'm delighted to say that Aarti is in the studio with us this evening. Aarti, very good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome. Now, this is really interesting stuff because, like I said earlier on, I just didn't know you could do this sort of thing. So tell us a bit about the scheme. I mean, how did you hear about it?
I first heard of Asian Foundation for Philanthropy when I went to a talk by a friend.
Yeah.
And he'd been volunteering with Asian Foundation for Philanthropy, so the talk was all about his experiences, and that's when I met Bala, who runs Asian Foundation for Philanthropy, and I learnt about what they do.
Yeah. And what do they do? I mean, what's the whole point?
Asian Foundation for Philanthropy is a UK-based charity, and they support a number of grassroots charities in India. These are the local charities in India, run by the local people, help to support the local people, and often people like us in India, we don't often hear about them because they are, the grassroots charities.
Right.
Asian Foundation for Philanthropy, as well as supporting these charities, they also run a volunteering scheme, which is an association with VSO and DFID, and that's what I went to do. I went to volunteer.
VSO being voluntary services overseas.
Yeah.
I mean, why did you decide to volunteer?
It was something I was thinking about for a long time, and basically I just wanted to share my skills and my experiences to help other people and support other people who are less fortunate than us.
And what skills did you offer?
My job role whilst I was in India was to train local teachers and share my experiences and my teaching skills with them.
Because you're a teacher yourself, aren't you?
That's right, yes. I teach ICT.
ICT, so you've got a very clear skill that you can offer, not just in terms of ICT, which is information communication technology, but also as a teacher. So you've got kind of those two skills, haven't you? And so that was a very clear thing that you identified that you could donate. But I'm a radio presenter. I mean, what can I offer?
Asian Foundation for Philanthropy, before they send out volunteers to India, they analyse your skills, and then they base your placement based on your skills. So, for example, one of my strong skills is to teach, so they base my placement around that. They also have a number of organisations and charities that they support, such as women's charities, they support local slum areas, they have IT centres that they run and support, they have many different sectors that they support, so depending on your skills
they can match it
yeah.
Fantastic. And I mean, I'm assuming that this was your first experience of its type, so we'll talk about exactly what you did and how you benefited from that, but you went to a very special place, didn't you? Because I suppose there is a strong link with it in Leicester. Tell us where you went, first of all.
I went to Bhuj in the Gujarat.
Which of course was devastated by the earthquake several years ago. And I say a connection with Leicester because not only do a lot of people here have relatives back in Bhuj, but also there's a school that was started by Rashid Foundation, which was set up there as well. I mean, what you did wasn't related with that, but tell us exactly what you did there while you were there.
My main aim was to train the teachers of India that worked at the Hope Foundation School. The reason for this was because it is a rural place, not many teachers are willing to work in Bhuj, so the school finds it difficult to recruit teachers, and the teachers that they have recruited are either unqualified, have the experience, or don't have the qualifications, and sometimes they might just have to employ graduates without experience. So my main aim was to share my experiences, teach them how to teach interactively, and basically share my skills.
Yeah, sounds really fascinating. So how did the whole thing work? I'm assuming that you kind of went to the foundation and said, this is what I want to do. How did the whole process work then, and how did you fund your trip?
Asian Foundation for Philanthropy provide funding towards your trip. When you're out there, you have to negotiate your rent that you might have to pay, but with regards to the initial flights and things, Asian Foundation for Philanthropy provide that. Once you're there, you speak to your manager whilst that placement, and you discuss what you discuss what you plan to do. But Asian Foundation for Philanthropy, they do an initial work plan for you before you go anyway.
So the whole thing's kind of more or less plotted out for you, so it's not as though you left to
It's
just
very
kind of
well organised,
fly on your own. So what was it like? I mean, what did you yourself benefit, and what were you able to give?
Initially, it was a bit of a challenge because obviously of the cultural differences, the language barriers, and because I was working with teachers, I think it's difficult to know how to approach them. But once I got out there and got to know them, we realised that we all shared one something in common, which was to teach, and that's where we went from, really. And from that, I realised that the teachers were very ambitious. They were very keen to learn, and when I introduced new teaching techniques, they were very keen to try them. I remember one teacher actually even tried a science experiment in the school kitchen, and before I went, they were all doing traditional book work. They never tried any interactive things.
Right.
But I'd like to think that since I've been, they've been trying new things and experimenting a little bit in their teaching as well.
And have you been able to keep in touch with them to see how
I keep in touch with Christopher, who's the head teacher there, via email, and he does a blog as well, so I try and keep up to date with that as well.
Wow, fantastic. So what would you say to somebody listening to this program, thinking, wow, this is something I quite fancy?
I'd say do it. For most of us, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and if you think you've got skills that you can share, then Asian Foundation for Philanthropy is the organisation to get in touch with. They, like I said, they look at your skills, they draw up a skill, like a plan for you. They support you financially, they support you when you're out there, they give you training before you go, and you get training once you're in India as well.
How long were you there for?
I was there for 6 weeks.
For 6 weeks?
Yeah, for the whole of the summer holidays.
I can imagine that must have been 6 weeks of your life, because because it's so rewarding, isn't it, I suppose, yeah. Well, I've got the details which I'll give out to you now. So if you would like to know more about the Asian Foundation for Philanthropy, or you'd like to volunteer your own particular skills, then, there's a couple of ways you can do it. First of all, go to the website, which is www.affp.org.uk. So as simple as that. It's the Asian Foundation for Philanthropy, so it's www.affp.org.uk, or alternatively you can give them a ring on 0207 065 0791, 0207 065 0791, and I'll give that information out a little later on in the programme in case you haven't had a chance to write it down. In the meanwhile, Aarti, thank you so much for joining us and sharing what has been, sounds like a fantastic experience. Would you do it again?
I've done it twice, actually.
You've done it twice?
Yeah, I've done it.
Same place or different places?
Same place, yeah.
Right, yeah. So clearly you've enjoyed it, and I'm sure that's not the last time you'll be doing it either.
No, I would like to do it again.
Like to do it again.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, and thank you so much for dropping in to share your story with us. It's really got me thinking, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to the programme today will have thought, yes, this is something I quite fancy doing. If you do, then go to the website affp.org.uk, or give them a ring on 0207 065 0791.